What's up, guys? Welcome on in, welcome on in, welcome on in. Happy what's today? Monday. Happy Monday. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Lots to get into from Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. He's written a new op-ed following her lead. We've got Blake Lively's deposition happening today, and I'm fresh off of Vidcon with Donna Bowling out in Anaheim. So lots to get into. I hope you're ready for it. Let's dive in. You're listening to No Filter with Zack Peter, your go-to source for all the latest pop culture and reality TV tea, served fresh all week long. Now, let's dive in. What's up, guys? Welcome on in. Happy Monday, everybody in the club. What's up, guys? What's going on? Happy Monday. Oh my God, I can't believe we're officially into summer, but already at the end of June. How did that happen? Where did the time go? What in the coconut tree is going on? I just wanted to also take a quick moment to say thank you to Spotify and thank you to VidCon. We, Donna Bowling and I got the a very fun opportunity to host No Filter live on the VidCon stage over the weekend, which was a really exciting, yummy treat. We were on the Spotify. They had their own theater at VidCon, which is like this big conference for creators and industry people. So if you like watch people on YouTube, or now there's a lot of TikTokers, and it's a really cool event that they have every year for aspiring creators, for industry people that want to meet with creators, for big creators. I have to say, I was actually really nervous to do, even though I've been on stage for years and years and years and years and years, and I've done so many panels and festivals, and I'm kind of like a vet at this point. I'm a seasoned pro, but I don't know why I was like nervous this time. I'm like, it's kind of like a big opportunity. It's Spotify. They're asking me to do this. It's VidCon. Like this is, a really cool opportunity. So I'm just so glad that I had Donna on stage with me. Like there was even like I wouldn't even look out into the audience because I was just like, don't look. Like just stay focused on Donna. I was like, this is my friend. I feel safe with my friend. I'm gonna pretend. And Donna was great. She was just like rolling with it. I mean, I felt like the pressure was kind of on me. Obviously, it was a taping of No Filter, so it was like on me to like make the show good. But we did a lot. We covered a lot. We got some good laughs. People really liked getting to see our friendship on stage, but I was so nervous. I was like trying to just like not be nervous. I was like holding my coffee and holding my water. And I was like taking sips of everything to take breaths. But no, it was fun. It was fun. And I was like trying to save Donna from buying a Labubu. She was gonna come home with a Labubu, or not even a Labubu. She's gonna get a box. They had so much random stuff on the exhibit hall floor all over. They had all these like random like equipment and like also like Labubu stuff, but like not even the real Labubus. A Furby was there. They had a giant Furby, and then there were like these random potpourri boxes of just like random stuff. It was like pick a theme: Pirates of the Caribbean, Star Wars, The Little Mermaid. I don't know. They had all these different themed boxes, and at one point, Donna was like, "Should I buy a box?" I'm like, "No, it's a random merch box. You don't even know what's in it." I saved her from spending any money on the merch floor because the things that she was gonna buy were probably a little crazy. But, no, we had a good time. We had fun. We finished it off with steak and wine at Morton's, because when you're in Anaheim, you don't have much. You got, like, Chili's and you got IHOP, or you got Morton's. So, of all the options that we went to, Morton's was the option we went with. It's funny, people are always like, every time I go out to eat with Zach, I always know like we're probably gonna end up spending money. Like he doesn't like to go to like the cheap. Not that I'm not against any cheap spots. I mean, clarify that. I just like if there's a nicer option, yeah, I want to go to the nicer option. Like I wore my Louboutins for a reason. I didn't wear my Louboutins to go to Chili's, you know? Nobody wears Louboutins to go to Chili's, okay? They were very expensive boots. You can see them in the photo right there. Very expensive boots. But no, we had a good time. We had a lot of fun. It was good. It was yeah. I did 2 days with Spotify. I did a full content day with them on Friday, and then we did the live taping on Saturday, and we covered everything. Let me tell you, we talked about Tyler Perry, we talked about Blake Lively, we talked about everything, everyone, all the things. Um, yeah. What is that? Oh, Donna's in the live chat. Donna says, "I like to shop." Donna does like to shop. She was like browse, but she was also like in her look. She was in her comfy outfit. I think you can see it in the photo. She had her like comfy sandals on, and she had her mom jeans and her strawberry shortcake sweater, and so she was like, "Yeah, let's walk all around town." And I was like, "Um, I'm literally in expensive shoes that are not easy to walk in." Yeah. You better be going to his live tour. Yes, guys. I actually it was exciting. I got to confirm both Lethal Lauren and Andy from Popcorn Planet. Both of them will be in my live show in Phoenix. Obviously, we have Dallas. Dallas is going to have Leanne Locken. Dallas is going to have the cast of Vanderpump Villa, and Dallas is going to have Colonel Kurtz. So that's going to be fun. We're going to have some legal tea. We're going to have some reality tea, and we're going to just have a good time kicking things off in Dallas. But then right after Dallas on July 13th is going to be Phoenix. I know that we're all covering the Baldoni Blake drama. And so both Andy and Lauren, Popcorn Planet and Court of Random Opinion, both of them will be on stage with me in Phoenix. That's going to be really fun. Andy's bringing a special sneak peek at the new It Ends with Justice documentary series that we filmed with him. And he said he's also going to bring a karaoke version of I'm Not Your Dragon. I'm not your dragon. Ain't nobody dragging my name. So he said he's gonna bring a karaoke version so that we can vibe out together in Phoenix at the Tempe Improv. But yeah, we got Dallas, Phoenix, we have Philly, Chicago, New York. We are gonna do something in New York. I think we're switching venues right now, or we're switching days. People were saying that Brooklyn, I guess, was a little too tough to get to for some people. So we're trying to find some sort of solution to where we can still do the New York show, just not in Brooklyn after all. Hopefully we'll have an update for you guys in the coming week or so. And then we'll hopefully be able to do a full Canadian tour. And because I know some people were asking for like Montreal or other parts of Canada. Toronto, I guess, wasn't the most convenient. So yeah, stay tuned for updates on that. But get your tickets, guys. NoFilterLive.com. NoFilterLive.com. Go right now. NoFilterLive.com. Get your tickets, grab your friends, wear your florals. Get your tickets now. Head on over to NoFilterLive.com. Okay, what do we want to start with? Do we want to start with Johnny Depp? Because Depp is finally coming out, and he's coming out swinging. Also, tomorrow today is Blake Lively's deposition. We don't seem to have any updates as of yet. No updates just yet. But we do have tomorrow another hearing, like a live hearing that I know a lot of us content creators, obviously we can't live stream the live hearings, but we can at least come on after the hearing is done. I believe the hearing is tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific. So you can expect me to go live at maybe 12 noon Pacific tomorrow, and I'll do a special recap of whatever we get in the hearing, because we're going to have all the attorneys back on the line. They're all going to be ready to hash it out with Judge Lyman. It's a lot, so we'll see what happens. Stay tuned. But that's happening tomorrow. Today's Blake's deposition. They're still fighting for the discovery. Lots that they're hashing out. But yeah, could you and Donna act out the hearing first? Okay, so that's actually something fun that we did do on stage. Is we acted out um Blake and Friedman. Donna played Friedman and I played Blake Lively on stage, and we walked through what we anticipate the deposition to go like, which is going to be fun and yummy and a good time. So hopefully we'll have all of that footage that we can release it to you soon from VidCon. They're supposed to send us a copy of it, and then I'll be able to upload and share. Hopefully it's not too late so that whatever topics we were talking about on the show, some of them just will be a little outdated, or maybe we'll edit around that. But yeah, role playing on stage. I love it. Yes. I was even thinking we should read Blake Lively's text messages to Justin Bell, her yummy text messages, never with teeth. Dun, dun, dun. Never with teeth. But yeah. Well, guys, let's take a quick break to shout out this week's sponsors, and then let's get into the Johnny Depp of it all. All right. It's summer, which means travel plans are in full swing, but don't be caught off guard while you're away from home. And be sure to pack the travel friendly medical emergency kit from the wellness company. I actually have mine right here. Look at it. Boom. No need to deal with the hassle of sickness because this compact blue case is your portable urgent care. It's stocked with ivermectin, Z-Pak, amoxicillin, and 6 other essential prescription medications right at your fingertips. With the Wellness Company's medical emergency kit, you can tackle serious health concerns without worrying about urgent care, especially when you're far away from home. This kit cuts through the red tape by allowing you to take control of your health versus being reactive or inconvenienced, right? You don't need to be a gatekeeper. You don't need a gatekeeper because their medical board created a guidebook that outlines common treatments for UTIs, strep throat, bacterial infection, respiratory infections, and more. It all takes the guesswork out of it. All you have to do is go online, fill out a digital intake form, and your kit arrives at your door within 1 to 2 weeks. Order your kit now by heading to twc.health slash no filter and use code no filter to save up to $45 off plus free shipping. That's twc.health slash no filter. Get your kits today. Okay. Use code no filter to save $45 off plus free shipping. Kits are available to US residents only. Get yours at twc.health slash no filter. Now, it is summer. I'm sure we're all planning to have a little fun and vibe out. But are you sick of drinking your calories? Are you sick of waking up hungover? Having some drinks can be fun, but I'm glad that I found an alternative that lets me feel great in the moment and the next morning. And that's my out of office gummies from Soul. I love going out with friends, but I don't always want to wake up with a headache the next day. That's why I've been reaching for Soul's out of office gummies instead. They're the perfect little lift to keep the good vibes going, to give me that light social buzz without the hangover. Because sometimes you just need a little something to get through the afternoon to help you get through the rest of your inbox, or something at the end of the day to make your evening more enjoyable. And that's where today's sponsor, Soul, can help. Soul is a wellness brand that believes feeling good should be fun and easy. Soul specializes in delicious hemp derived THC and CBD products designed to boost your mood and help you unwind. Their best selling out of office gummies were designed to provide a mild, relaxing buzz, boost your mood, and enhance creativity and relaxation. Plus, Soul has so many other amazing wellness products with or without THC, including a variety of gummies and capsules that can help improve sleep, stress, pain, focus, bloating, and more. Bring on the good vibes and treat yourself to Soul today. Right now, Soul is offering my audience 30% off your entire order. Go to getsoul.com and use the code no filter. That's getsoul.com, promo code no filter for 30% off. All right, back to the show. Whew. Okay, Johnny Depp just wrote a new op-ed in the Times, and people are kind of, I guess, excited that he's finally speaking out, and it looks like he's getting his Hollywood comeback. I think people have been waiting for this since he'd won his defamation case. It's been a long time coming, but he seems to finally be ready to make his comeback to Hollywood. Johnny Depp, I was a crash test dummy for Me Too. Over a rambling 4-hour session with Jonathan Dean, the actor opens up about the Amber Heard trials, his painful childhood, 40 years of fame, and the friends who turned their backs on him. Dun dun dun. So remember, Amber Heard wrote her op-ed, and I believe that was in the Post. And ultimately, that is what got her in trouble because she wrote about how Johnny Depp had abused her, and they found out that she wasn't being fully honest. She wasn't telling the truth, and therefore she was defamed. Sorry, she defamed Johnny Depp. So now here we are. Johnny's ready for his comeback. I mean, yes, he does get into his childhood. He does kind of, talk about the challenges that he faced in Hollywood. But I think the Amber Heard stuff is really the more interesting bits of it. He basically says that yes, he did feel like a crash test dummy. He, says that he lost a lot of friends, that they all went, when they go woke, they abandon you. And, but he needed to fight back. He said enough had been enough. I think the people around him were trying to tell him and convince him that, you know, just write it out. Write it out. It's going to be okay. Just keep your head down and eventually people will forget. But he was like, "No, there are people that will always believe that I was this person. There are people that will always believe that I did these things and I need to have my win. I need to have my victory in court. Otherwise, what was it all for?" He's like, "Look, it had gone far enough." He felt like he was representing DV, domestic abuse. So it's a good read. He said, I knew I'd have to semi eviscerate myself, meaning he was gonna have to throw himself onto the fire and burn with Amber Heard and just hope that in the end it goes in his favor, and you have to just trust the process. That's why right now, even when we're watching stuff with Justin Baldoni, we kinda have to just trust the process and see where this is all going, right? Because at the end of the day, it's a long journey. Johnny Depp had to take years before he was able to, and, it's tough. Here's an expert. He says, "I'll tell you what hurts. There are people, and I'm thinking of 3 who did me dirty. Those people were at my kids' parties, throwing them in the air, and look, I understand people who could not stand up for me because the most frightening thing to them was making the right choice." He said, "I was pre-Me Too. I was like a crash test dummy for Me Too. It was before Harvey Weinstein. I sponged it, took it all in, and so I wanted from the hundreds of people I've met in the industry to see who was playing safe. Bef- Better go woke. I have no regrets about anything because truly what I can do about last week's Wait, sorry. He says, "I have no regrets about anything because truly, what can we do about last week's dinner? Not a fucking thing." And it's true, you know? But it's interesting because he really talks about the people that turned their backs. And I guess we don't put into context the fact that the allegations against him did take place pre Me Too. And then Me Too happened and Time's Up happened. And Harvey Weinstein was like the big case that everybody focused on. So Depp had already he kind of, like, opened up the floodgates, right, with Amber Heard's allegations against him. That kind of, like, opened up the door, and the next thing you know, everything Me Too had just completely exploded and became, like, this giant movement that everybody was talking about, and that was the time when he was battling these allegations. So, he was kind of the tip of the iceberg before we saw everything that was under the surface, and he unfortunately got dragged along with that, and I'm sure Amber Heard felt vindicated in that, and I think that adds context to why so much of the media and the press were defending Amber Heard because that was the time you absolutely believe women. Like, that was the whole thing, believe women, believe women, believe women. Eric says, "Can he just let it go? He already won." No. No, Enrique, he can't just let it go because he already won. Because one, there are still a fraction of people that believe he's a bad guy, and two, he sat through years of having to take this. So yeah, he should get through years of having to remind everybody that he didn't do these things. One win is just that one win in court that day, but he still has the rest of his life and his career ahead of him. So yeah, he can absolutely keep talking about this and write an op-ed and do all the things that he could do because the more he speaks up about this, the more we fight for justice for Justin, the more we can then continue to help other people that get falsely accused and hopefully, kind of even things out here so that people that are accusing you, like the goal eventually is to make sure that there are protections for people that were genuinely harassed or abused while also making sure that we're holding the people that are misusing this movement or misusing this, the protections that are put in place for victims or survivors, because I know that that's a preferred term. We want to make sure that those protections are upheld. And the only way to do this is to stay vigilant in continuing to fight for truth and continuing to fight for what's right. And unfortunately, we only have one example right now, and that's Johnny Depp. We have Harvey Weinstein who's trying to fight this, but I don't think he's a good example. You had people like Bill Cosby and Jussie Smollett who got off, but I mean, they're not exactly the pillars of truth in Hollywood. You know, he will never be the same. The hurt is real. Yeah. Isis says Depp is forever traumatized that Amber Heard turned on his bed. Yeah, that that's some trauma you're gonna have to live with forever. He still lost so many business opportunities that hurts. I still wish he would have been kept on the Fantastic Beasts series. Yeah, Disney immediately let him go. Immediately. So, oh yeah, 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 yeah. We'll see. Um, yeah, we shall see. Um, what's going on with Iran? Somebody's commenting about Iran. What's going on with that? Laura says Iran is going after an American base. Live report. Are they really? I'm looking at the live reports right now. Let's see. I mean, which live reports do we want to trust? ABC News. Oh, wow. White House monitoring potential threats. 6 minutes ago, Iran launches attack on U.S. base in Qatar. Yikes. Iran has attacked a U.S. base in Qatar, calling the mission Annunciation of Victory. According to the Iranian state TV, the attack is focused on um, the AI Udeid air base, according to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. With the aggression of the U.S. enemy, it became clear to everyone that the evil of the Zionists was an extension of the American design. The Iranian armed forces said in a statement, accordingly, we remind you that in this national defense, the U.S. mobile military base and targets in the region are not a point of strength, but rather a major weakness and a blind spot for this warmongering regime. Interesting. Who? The Iranian armed forces said in a statement, with the aggression of the American enemy, it became clear to everyone that the evil of the Zionists was an extreme extension of the American design. Yikes! This is getting messy quick. Um, Listen, guys, it's crazy. I agree with you. I mean, listen, I've heard everybody on both sides of the issue, right? Some people who are like, we need to stay strong as a country, and it's important that we stay vigilant and we show the world that the US is a strong country and that we mean business and that we're not going to take threats lightly. And I get that and I hear that. And then I also, see the other sides of like how this could potentially escalate things. And we're just going to have to see how this plays out. I think sometimes some of these issues are so much bigger than we understand. We're not in the ops room, right? We're not, on the national intelligence team. We just have to trust and have faith that things are going to work out, and see what's going to happen. I don't think we necessarily need to be marching in the streets holding the Iranian flag. Um, but listen, there's not a solution that you and I can provide right now, right? We have to just at this point we're at the mercy of our government and trust that our government's going to do everything they can to keep us safe and just try to stay focused. It's a very heavy time. There are a lot of things going on in the world, and when you stay glued to the news and when you stay glued to the panic porn online, I think all that continues to do is feed that anxiety in you. And I think at the end of the day, there's nothing that we can really do about it in this moment, unfortunately. All we can do is just, be grateful for the blessings that we have, be grateful for the freedoms that we have, be grateful that we're in a country that is so free where we can march and protest and speak out against the government if we're upset with the government for whatever reason and still be able to go to work and provide for our families and hang out with our loved ones and fall in love with the people we choose to fall in love with. And you know, we have so many luxuries and things that we should be grateful for living in a free country and not living in a third world country. And I think right now, all we can do is just trust the process and be grateful for the people and the blessings that we have in our life right now. So that's all I can give you. I'm not going to come on here and pick a side or pick a fight or anything. I'm just, you know, I think a lot of the same sentiments that I've echoed on the show over the past several weeks about, it's great that people want to exercise the right to protest or whatever, but like that's not really solving any of these world issues. And so I think, you're more than welcome to do that and exercise your right. But also understand that there's a freedom that you have to be able to exercise that right. But yeah, I don't want to harp on it too much because there are plenty of political and news shows that you can focus on, but just try to not stay glued to those things because they're really not healthy for your mental health. And I think when you're constantly scrolling X or watching the news and wanting to fight with people because they don't necessarily, agree with your politics. I was thinking about that this morning. I was like, it's interesting because we often like choose to fight about politics without realizing we're actually on the same side of a lot of these issues. Like, I think we can all agree Iran should not have nuclear weapons. Like, that's kind of a very even keeled, you know, argument that I think we can all stand by. I think we all agree that we should have a strong, you know, military and we should absolutely be a strong country and not a laughing stock. I know that people arguably will disagree with that. They think that we are a laughing stock, and some people feel like we're not. But I think we should, you know, just take it one beat at a time. And like I said, focus on the good things that you have in front of you right now. Don't stay glued to the news. It will cause more anxiety. You can't change it, right? You can't change whatever's happened over the last few days, and we can't change whatever's going to happen next. We just have to trust the process because it's kind of out of our control in this moment. But stay focused, stay present, you know, stay awake. Obviously, it's important to stay awake. It's important to be mindful of what's going on in our country and around the world, but don't stay glued to it because that's only going to trigger more fear and scarcity and anxiety. And I just think, stay focused on the good for right now, which is what we'll do. And listen, Blake's getting deposed today. We're gonna have to see how that plays out. That's gonna be interesting to see what Little Miss Sunshine has to say on the stand. I don't think she's going to be able to get out of it. I don't think she's going to be able to ditch Friedman. She has to get her deposition done now because all of the evidence, I believe, is due in July. I believe by July 1st is when they have to turn over all of the evidence and discovery, which is next week. So she really only has 1 week before, to collect everything and turn it over. So it's unlikely that she's going to push her deposition and do it after Friedman has all the evidence because once he has all the evidence, then he can really grill her. It's in her benefit to withhold it and to, make sure he doesn't have any of access to that so that he can only focus and depose her and question her and grill her based on what she filed in her security complaint. So, oh, deposition deadline is due in August. Yes. But so there are different deadlines. Do I still have it in here? I may have taken it out of the media library. No, that's not it. Oh, damn. I used to have it in here. That's not it either. Sympathy from the media. I used to have the timeline with the due dates. I believe they have a couple of them have since changed. But yes, actually, Serena, was the first one to reveal those due dates. The deposition due date, I believe, was originally set for August 14th, but that's for all depositions, right? So between now and August 14th is when all of the different depositions will be happening with all of the different parties that they plan to bring in. And I believe the depositions can go up to like 7 hours per person because you have to have the prosecution have their time, you have to have the defense have their time. So it's a very long process. So within the time frame and with that schedule, you got to be mindful of it. So I think Blake wanted to do hers up front. That way she could do hers before Friedman had access to any of the evidence. And that way, she can kind of just skirt by and hopefully there isn't a whole lot for him to catch her on. Laura says, can Blake answer no comment to every question? Is that allowed? Will she turn up or just be a waste of time? Here's the thing. She's gonna have to turn up eventually. It's in her best interest to do it earlier rather than later. So everyone's like, who knows if she's gonna show up? She's probably not gonna show up. She's probably gonna be sick or whatever. She's gonna have to show up at some point. It's in her best interest to show up before Friedman has access to the evidence. So she's gonna want to do her deposition sooner rather than later. Can she answer no comment? Again, it's uncertain, like, that's not gonna be beneficial to her case. She can technically plead the 5th if she wants to. That doesn't really help her case, though. Um, She can say things like, to the best of my memory, from what I recall, because then that focuses on just the memory, not the facts, right? So a lot of things. Queen says, what happens if she shows up late as she usually does? Would they still get the same time to depose? Like, yeah, I believe they do still have that 7 hour um, window. I mean, I wouldn't think she would be astronomically late. If they do, I'm sure they would argue to get their full 7 hours. Lisa says, yes, I was deposed before because the company I worked for was being sued. Ooh, Lisa, and how was that experience? Can she be deposed a second time by him? I don't believe so. Um, I want to say, don't quote me on this. I'm not entirely sure, but I want to say like a deposition might be similar to like sitting on the stand, right? Um, whereas like one person goes and then you have a cross examination and then you can cross after cross, whatever that's called. Her lawyer can object to form, but that's about it. Yeah, and like I said, she can say things like, "Per my recollection, per my memory." Like, she can be dodgy in her questions, she can be very vague. They usually say in these depositions to be very matter of fact, yes or no answers only. Like, try to not give them more than, you know, try to not give them more than you need to. Tilted lawyer said it could be a 2-day deposition. Yeah. They have 7 hours to conduct. I believe it's 7 hours to conduct the deposition. Obviously, depending on when they start, there are breaks involved, there's lunch, there's all that sort of stuff. So very stressful week. Very, very stressful week. Does her team depose Justin at some point? Yeah, I believe Justin, I'm sure, already has his on the schedule as well. Um, Sarah says, coming in 29 minutes late, but it's okay because I always back the stream up. Yes, let's get it. No cross examine. Yeah, well, I said cross examine, but both parties get to essentially question them in the deposition. So that's why it's kind of like a cross examine. Um, the attorney was nice, but the questions were easy for me. I answered everything. Well, that's good. Well, listen, it's going to be easier for you because um yeah, it's gonna be easier for you because you're not the person in the hot seat, right? You're just kind of helping to color in the missing pieces, whereas Blake is in the hot seat, you know? You want Blake Lively to say yes or no, Zag, not gonna happen. Yeah, she tends to think that she's really good at what she does, and she tends to think that she's really charismatic. So, yeah, I don't have a ton of faith, in her. I I don't know. I don't. I'm a little concerned for Blake Lively, but we'll see. I imagine another deposition may be possible, especially if they amend the complaint today. I mean, we'll have to see. Brian is going to rattle her. I mean, I'm sure he will. I'm sure she's going to try to not get rattled. But here's the thing: you also don't want to rattle her as much because, like, you don't want to look like you're badgering the. I, would she be the witness? Badgering the plaintiff? Badgering the accuser? So she's gonna give a word salad, probably. Remember when Amber Heard slipped up in her deposition that she contacted TMZ? Let's hope Blake suffers from the same misfortune. Well, we want the truth, right? We don't want misfortune. We want the truth. So if she does slip up, then it's a slip of the truth, not a slip to give her misfortune. We don't wish misfortune on anybody. Will Ryan get deposed? I'm pretty sure he will. We don't have a date yet, or at least it's been released publicly, but I'm pretty sure it's already been scheduled. I would imagine he's also going to be deposed this week for sure. I mean, or at least before July, or they're at least going to try to get him in early. Um, she's been rattled by Friedman for a while. Yeah. One of her answers could last 7 hours. That's another thing that she could do is kinda just, like, give really long-winded answers, rambly word salad answers that don't really say a whole lot to, like, take up the time. Like, there are different strategies that you can use in a deposition. Again, one of them is just yes or no, yes or no, yes or no, and then another one is, um, just talking in circles and giving a whole lot of nothing. But when you talk in circles and give a whole lot of nothing, then I think you are kind of giving them something because you open yourself up to potentially slip. Trash Can Panda says, "My new favorite thing, I'm not wearing my Louboutins to Chili's." Yeah, exactly. You don't wear Louboutins to Chili's. That's the quote of the day. Who wears Louis? I didn't put on Louboutins to go to Chili's. That's the quote. I didn't put on my Louboutins to go to Chili's. Baby Son Forever says, "I've been federally deposed, and it's no big deal if you have the truth on your side." See, everyone in the live chat's like, "But depositions are not a big deal. It's not big." It's a little different in Blake's situation, guys, because yeah, it's not gonna end like it's very crazy. Very, very crazy. Like, she's really if she's not telling the truth, it's gonna be a lot. Dawn says, "Blake talks way too much. No stopping her. She'll want authorship of the deposition too. God bless her." Okay, so everyone was talking about the Forbes panel that she did, right? Where she talks about she needs authorship over every project. Well, I have only seen clips of this interview, but I found the full extended clip of this interview of Blake Lively talking about how she got authorship over It Ends With Us. Let's watch it really quickly because I feel like it's actually kind of enlightening.
First things first, you're a producer on this movie as well.
Yes.
Had you read the book and then you were like, I need to bring this to life? How did the whole film come to life?
Oh, well, that's so nice of you to acknowledge the producing, because so many people want to talk about the acting. And honestly, the acting was the smallest contribution that I had to this film. I was very fortunate to have such authorship in the story in a way that makes this movie so much more significant.
Did you style yourself for this film as well?
I mean, I work with Eric Damon, who is the stylist, the costume designer on Gossip Girl. But anyone who works with me,
I love this.
it's like drinking through a fire hose. You're like, wow, I come in and I'm like, this is what we're going to do.
I saw in another interview, you said that Ryan, actually, your husband Ryan Reynolds, wrote part of that rooftop scene.
No,
Is that
he
true?
did. That's, I mean, I would have to compare it to the original one, but that's 90-something, 99% his. And we had an incredible music supervisor, Season Kent, and one of our editors, Shane Reed, who, fun fact, he was my editor on Taylor's music video that I directed. And I was obsessed with him. And I was like, this guy is amazing. And he never edited a movie before. He just finished Deadpool and Wolverine, and he came on and helped us with this one. And he has incredible taste in music. And we share the same composer as well from Deadpool and Wolverine. So there's a lot of sharing happening.
I love this. You're dreaming, like you're building up your own dream team to just like work on films together. That's so cool.
Well, we are, but like we're working on films together, but sort of behind the.
Yeah, I'm sure they're working on films together, but behind the scenes, please, lady, please. So you see it there, right? She says she has authorship over the film and she was really excited. But it's crazy because you listen, she's like, people, what does she say? It's like, they're like, I'm breathing fire or something. Like, hello. And she now wants us to believe that Baldoni is the one that had all of the power on the set. So much so that he was yelling at her and telling her to turn around while he turns the monitors on so everyone can see her bare backside, even though she wasn't bare. Like, what? It's crazy. And then Ryan Reynolds writing the scene. And then we had the emails from Sony being like, wait, do we have a contract with Reynolds? Was he contracted to do this? We don't have anything in our records that shows that Reynolds was a contributor in this way. She absolutely had full authorship over the film and was completely bulldozing production. And so, yeah, it makes sense that she had control on the set. You're going to tell me she was able to get an edit. She brought in her own editor. She was able to bring in her own stylist. She wanted to work with the stylist from Gossip Girl. So she brought in her own stylist to put together those terrible outfits. Come on. And you really think this is the other Forbes interview. Where's the Forbes interview? So yeah, I remember the Forbes interview, and I remember seeing like little bits of this interview, this radio interview that she did, but it seems like that was like the extended clip where she really talks about the rooftop scene and the authorship and Ryan Reynolds' involvement in the film. And so either she's a liar in, her anecdotes about the film and production, or she's a liar now. But either way, she appears to be misrepresenting things for sure. Everything she says is just word vomit. Her acting on the rooftop scene was flat, just like her cliff scene in Another Simple Favor too, bland and flat. I think that's part of what she like is going for though. I think she likes that like deadpan, monotone style. Mary says, I just noticed Blake does a similar sound to Meghan Markle when she talks. She makes this tisk tisk breathy sound when she makes a dramatic pause. Interesting. I never caught that. Those were not Gossip Girl quality outfits, just saying. I agree. They were terrible outfits. They were so bad. Ariana says Blake will end up confessing to other crimes no one knows about. Probably. She's very good at telling on herself unintentionally. She thinks she's just being funny and telling a cheeky story. Blake will end up yeah. Yeah. If today is Blake's day and she wanted to get out of it, wouldn't she have had to request to stay that she was sick or come up with some excuse? Yeah, I believe the deposition is happening. I believe it's happening now. I think it may have just started. I believe the time was 10 a.m. Pacific. Is it Pacific or Eastern? Because I believe they're in New York. So it might be Eastern? I don't know. Veronica says, well said, Zach. You can't just let things go that are significant, traumatic, stressful, and horrific chapter. Thank you, Veronica. I hope Friedman can use these admissions of authorship in his deposition. He absolutely will. Enrique says she really thinks that we're still in 2006. We can Google everything now, and we have social media to respond. She's stuck in time. Yeah. Deadpool and deadpan. Yeah. Arriving late to the convo. Hi, welcome, Lady of the Water. Perhaps this has already been said, but has anyone seen KF's new song, Congrats on Your Little Bump? No. Oh. Shirsty Flaw, I'm assuming it's KF. Shirsty has a new song called Congrats on Your Little Bump. Oh, I want to listen to Congrats on Your Little Bump. Everyone's just doing songs these days. Should I have a song? I'm going to put out a rap song. Never with Teeth. That's what I'm going to call it. Never with Teeth. No, I'm going to. Yeah, you got that yummy, yum. That yummy, yummy, yummy. I want to come up with a song. How fun. I absolutely want to come up with a song now. We had Not Your Dragon, and now there's Little Bump. I want to listen to Little Bump. Where's this song? It's a Shirsty Flaw song, like Shirsty singing it. It's an original by Shirsty. Can somebody send me the link? That actually looks like a lovely time. Hold on. Let's see. Oh my God, this song is a banger. Okay, let's see. Is this it? No, there's another song that somebody made called Smear Campaign. Untraceable. We can bury anyone. That's what Melissa said. Ooh, this is fun. Can you guys hear that? I'm calling misogyny. You wouldn't sign the statement that Brian and I wrote for you. Oof. Click. You guys can't hear it? So fun. Smear campaign. Grab your friends, wear your florals. Okay. That was fun. Was it hard to hear? Yeah, you guys said you could barely hear it. I was trying to play it in the mic. Really, you guys couldn't hear that? I feel like that was the audio levels were reading pretty well. Maybe if you're watching back on Spotify or Apple, you'll be able to hear it better. It might just be the conversion on StreamYard for those that are streaming it on YouTube. But that was fun. We had Popcorn Planet song. Here, let's see if we can find. We'll try to connect Shirsty's song. Shows too flat. 'Cause somebody said it's congrats on your little bump. Okay. Let's see this. Zack, great. Could you see me doing a song? Okay. Here is Shirsty's song. Let's play it. I'm gonna do a share screen, and hopefully you can hear this one better.
First of all, I meant it kind. Congrats
You guys
on
hear?
your little bump. I smiled, but the room went cold. Your glance was wild. You fired back like I crossed a line. Congrats on your little bump, you said. Was it shade or just regret?
Cute.
Funny how the truth can sting in a world of gowns and PR spin. Oh, Hollywood hearts wrapped up in silk. The cracks show through the glamour and guilt.
Yummy.
When kindness meets a brittle front, you wear the crown, but not the blunt. You played the part, the lights were dim, the red carpet hides what's under skin. Still I was real, you chose to jump. So congrats, Blake,
Yeah.
on your little bump.
So congrats, Blake, on your little bump.
Posey laughed, diffused the fire. That talked of pants and vintage attire. You dodged the soul to praise the style, but the tension hung there all the while. You waxed poetic, called it deep.
Okay, Shirsty.
About the roles and masks we keep.
Let's go.
But off the script,
Hyped on a Monday.
the tone betrayed a world where warmth is often staged. Oh, Hollywood hearts wrapped up in silk.
So,
But cracks
take me
show
to
through the glamour
this is
and guilt.
Coachella right here.
When kindness meets a brittle front, you wear the crown, but not the blunt. You played the part, the lights were dim, the red carpet hides what's under skin.
Yeah.
Still I was real.
Let's go.
You chose to jump, so
you did.
congrats, Blake, on your little bump.
Hey. Okay, this is a bop, yo. Okay, that was a good one. Okay, so we have that one. Let's go to Popcorn Planet. Let's check out. So that was so yummy. I was very much here for that. Here's the Taylor diss track from
As I've been covering all this It Ends With Us
Andy.
drama, I had this.
Here we go. I'm Not Your Dragon. Which one do
You
we like
said I
better?
was safe, that I could be true, but all that was lies, was all about you. You promised me never would tease, then smiled and tightened the leash. Tried to throw me off of your scent, then blame me for smelling without your consent. You twist the story up, but now I know the plot. You tried to erase me, but I never forgot. I held the line, you played pretend, but this is where you ramble and you can shame me and ghost me and mess with my placement, but I won't be kept in the basement. I'm not your dragon, ain't nobody's dragon, no. Not your shield when the truth is revealed. You'll be standing on the field alone. I'm not your dragon, ain't nobody dragging my name. Feeling every part from the start. You've been stepping on my heart, yeah. Well, I'm not your dragon, no. You kiss the fire, then blame the kiss, when it was you who started all of this. You won't rewrite me, the truth is out. That spell is broken, let the world hear me shout. You twist the story up, but now I know the plot. You tried to erase me, but I never forgot. I held the line, you played pretend, but this is where you ramble and you can shame me and ghost me and mess with my placement, but I won't be kept in the basement. I'm not your dragon, ain't nobody's dragon, no. Not your shield when the truth is revealed. You'll be standing on the field alone. I'm not your dragon, ain't nobody dragging my name. Feeling every part from the start. You've been stepping on my heart, yeah. Well, I'm not your dragon.
lyric video, guys. Hold on, we have to do.
Ready to lose weight, pay less,
together.
and see results? Through hers, you can get access to Wegovy, the FDA approved.
It started with us. It ended with you. So many chapters that I didn't choose. You said I was safe, that I could be true, but all that was lies was all about you. I promised me never with teeth, then smiled and tightened the leash. Tried to throw me off of your scent, then blame me for smelling without your consent. It's the story of, but now I know the plot. You tried to erase me, but I never forgot. I held the line, you played pretend, but this is where your reign will end. You can shame me and ghost me and mess with my placement, but I won't be kept in the basement. I'm not your dragon, ain't nobody's dragon. Not your shield when the truth is revealed. You'll be standing on the field alone. I'm not your dragon, ain't nobody dragging my name. Feeling every part from the start. You've been stepping on my heart,
yeah.
I'm not your dragon. You kiss the fire. And blame the kiss when it was you who started all of this. You won't rewrite me. The truth is out. The spell is broken. Let the world hear me shout. You twist the story up, but now I know the plot. You tried to erase me, but I never forgot. I held the line, you played pretend, but this is where your reign will end. You can shame me and ghost me and mess with my placement, but I won't be kept in the basement. I'm not your dragon, ain't nobody's dragon.
Okay. Sorry, I'm not going to just like let this be a karaoke episode where you just listen to me sing all the time. That was a great one. Okay, so Little Bump was great. I'm Not Your Dragon was great. And then there was the last one on X that somebody sent me. That was a good one too. This is the one that I was trying to play for you guys earlier, but I guess you didn't hear it. Hold on, let me play it now. Change story up. Da-da-na-na-na. You tried to erase me, but I never forgot. You held the line, and this is where. Okay, so this is the other one that somebody sent.
We can bury anyone.
Ooh, bury anyone.
That's what Melissa said. You all kept it hidden in the secret text thread. You told them don't directly hit her, but I saw the pitch on the screen. Maybe you passed on the offer, but I'm calling misogyny. You wouldn't sign the statement that Ryan and I wrote for you. So I handed them the match and then they lit you like a fuse. You pushed that baby bump clip to the feet. Had me plug my booze and hair care on repeat. Turned the fans against my wardrobe, left me holding all the blame. It's all just part of your smear campaign. Untraceable, invisible, subliminal smear campaign. Grab your friends, wear your florals. They mocked me when it aired. Said I cheapened the message, 'cause you pretended you cared. I filed a secret lawsuit. Subpoena slipped inside. Pulled Jen's phone apart. Found the bits I could weaponize. I fed the Times the story. I watched the outrage mount. You wouldn't stand aside, so now I'll take you out. You pushed that baby bump clip to the feet. Had me plug my booze and hair care on repeat. Then talked up domestic violence, left me holding
Lemon. Okay, so it's called Smear Campaign. You push that baby bump clip. Oops. Kirby is the one who put it together. Music and lyrics by Kirby. Character designed by Lugwood Snifsty. Production by Lugwood Snifsty. Okay, Kirby. Kirby is the one that did this one. Okay. Wow. Guys, what a day. Who did it? Kirby, I just told you. This is a pro Blake song. Not really. With your smear campaign. Never with teeth. Never with teeth. Yeah, I have to do a song. Maybe I don't know. What's my song gonna be? Never with teeth. So yummy. With your smear campaign. Oh man. What a fun time. What a fun time. All right, well, those are your 3 bops for today. Oh, my goodness. Andy's one is my favorite. They're all so good though, right? Andy's is really good. It's all so good. It's all just like the bop. The Kirby one sounds so pro Blake and saying Justin did smear campaign. Well, I mean, I think they're just taking what she claimed, like her allegations, and they just like put it into a song from like Blake's perspective, right? So, yeah. Listen to the other songs they wrote too. I'll have to check them out. That was a good one. So yummy. So yummy needs to be in it. Ballbuster. Oh yeah, coconut tree. Like you think we just fell out of a coconut tree? You need to play the Moonlight Receipts one. What is the Moonlight Receipt? There's another one by Moonlight Receipts. Oh. Oh, Daddy Sleuth song. Yes. Okay. These are all the terms that we need in it. Yeah. Oof. His story up. But now I know the plot. You tried to erase me, but I won't. But I won't be kept in the basement. I'm not your dragon. Ain't nobody's dragon my name. Stroller Gate. Your aura is super bright. Is that a lyric for the song, or is that what you're telling me that my aura is super bright? Ah, Dave should do Daddy Sleuth. I'm Daddy Sleuth. Watching on 2 times as I was late, you dancing at 2 times has made my Monday. I can only imagine what I look like dancing at 2 times speed. How is the puppy doing? Pups are good. Pups are all good. Your song has to be, Do You Think I Just Fell Out of a Coconut Tree? Do a duet with Donna. Could you imagine? I'm not your dragon, not your daddy. Never with teeth fell from a coconut tree. You glow. Am I glowing today? Oh, I'm glad I'm glowing today. I was in a rut this morning. And then sorry I was late this morning too, guys. The city decided to do some work on, I don't know, there's some sort of emergency water thing that DWP needed to do. And then we didn't have water and they didn't warn us that this was going to happen. But like then because they did something, so they had to shut off all the water without telling us. And then we didn't have water. And I was like, what the hell? And then now the water has finally come back, but now we don't have hot water. And they're like, oh, it's just going to take some time. So I was like trying to run all of the water in the building today, like both of my showers and my sinks and flush and the kitchen sink too. I was like, well, if it's gonna they're saying it should warm up, like let's just get all the water flowing, you know? Zach in chat question: If you could ask Blake one question during her deposition, what would it be? Ooh, that's a great comment. Leave a comment below with what your question say. Question for Blake, colon, and then ask away. And maybe we'll review them on tomorrow's episode. You have to remind me, but type in to a comment, not on the live chat, but in a comment, especially on Spotify or on YouTube. Put my question for Blake, colon. What would my question for Blake be? If I could only ask one question, what would my question be? Do you think you deserved the PGA mark? Because if she thinks that she deserved the PGA mark, then that would mean she thinks that she held a majority role on producing the film. And if she did, then how can you say that somebody else had more power over you when you technically are claiming that you earned the PGA mark because you had the most control with production throughout the set. That way, I'm just trying to think if I had to narrow it down to one and one that can kind of be a gotcha. Um, what would we? I would ask about the PGA marks. I feel like that's a very easy one to show that she had control over the set. Um, I would ask why she didn't file a complaint with SAG. Why she didn't have SAG investigate it. Why she didn't participate in any investigation into her claims. Did you fall in love with Justin? Do you really think it was smart to promote your alcohol during a DV movie? Well, she'll say it was about empowerment, and my brands are about empowering women. Why didn't you read the book? Because I wanted to bring an original take to the character. I wanted to not be, I didn't want the character to be tainted by, what the book said. I wanted it to be its own thing. I wanted the film to stand on its own because I just felt like Lily was just like such a perfect character that I just wanted to bring to life. And I had all these ideas and the outfits, and I fell in love with her character, and it was just so yummy. And just like I wanted to bring her to life. So I didn't read the book because I wanted to make sure that I could make it original, and make it something that was unique and that was like so much more impactful than the book because I wanted the film to be empowering for women. Women struggle every day, and I wanted this to be a film that girls could bring their girlfriends to, and they could have powerful, meaning conversations about like women and female empowerment and like not letting the patriarchy take us down because like we have to we have to be each other's advocates as women. We have to be each other's sisters. We have to braid each other's hair. We have to just like use Blake Brown to like make sure that we're supporting each other. And so that's why I thought it was really powerful to like have a female owned entrepreneurial brand like Betty Boo's in part of this movie. It was about empowering women, and what could be more empowering than a female owned and produced brand like Betty Boo's or Blake Brown. Like that's always been my platform, is to just like, just like be there for women. Next question. Zach, you're on fire today. Thank you. That was such a Blake answer, nailed it, right? Like it was very word salady, and they were like it was very rambling, kind of all over the place, but like kind of saying the same thing just in different ways, but like trying to make it seem like it was impactful in some way. It's just like you know, if she were seriously SH, then why didn't she leave if you were so miserable and uncomfortable and emotionally damaged? No, she kept fighting to have authorship. The birds are in the house. Bush birds in the house. Bush birds in the house. Amanda says, oh, another question. Why didn't you act as the written character from the book and you keep trying to put yourself into the character? So what I like to do is like, when I take on a project, I really want to like give myself to the character. And like Lily was just like such a yummy and like inspirational young girl. And I just saw so many traits of myself in her. And like I just wanted to like bring her to life, and I just like wanted to make sure that she felt so colorful and vibrant, and just like I wanted her creativity to show in the outfits and the colors that we chose. I wanted her to come to life. And I just felt like there were so many things as I was reading the script that like, I just felt like I was like Lily too, and I feel like we're both just such creative, empathic souls that like take on people's energies. And so I just felt like her character was like in a weird, like a twisted way. And I know this is gonna sound crazy, but like I just felt like in a weird twist where like her soul like was merging with like my soul. And so I just wanted to put our souls together because I just felt like we're two women that could like merge into one, kind of like my character in Another Civil Favor, where like I had two of me and I had to act out as three parts. And I was like, oh my God, Paul Feig, like three parts. Like that's like really crazy. But I did it, and like, I just I hope that came through. Like I wanted that to come through in the art and in the artwork that we put together. And I wanted Lily to come to life. And I thought, what better way to personify such a creative and powerful, strong woman than to be an incredibly powerful, strong woman of my own who's founded like businesses. Like I founded Betty Boo's and Blake Brown, and I want it to be all about the sanctity of women. And like Lily is just such an important essence of what it means to be a woman in today's age and to stand up to a man like Ryle, because we just have so many men in this world that just like don't know how to advocate for women. How was that? And the monologue is perfect. Thank you. Oh my god, the reenactment is triggered. It's not a reenactment. Zach, you nailed her word salad. Where's Zach? Why is Blake here? Oh, here's another question for Blake. Tiana says, if you're for all women, then why did you not support domestic violence survivors? Okay. So like here's the thing that I think people just don't understand. Like I'm the biggest champion for women, and like I have conversations with women all the time. Like I'm always talking to women, and I'm always like trying to champion them on. And like I have so many like empowered female friends, like Taylor Swift. Like Taylor is just like such like an advocate, and she roots for me, and she calls me like once every 3 years, and like we'll have like really deep conversations, and that like just feel and feed your soul. And so like when it comes to survivors, like I wanted, not just I don't want them to frame themselves as like survivors per se, because I feel like you're so much more than like that story, right? And that's what I wanted, and that's what the film was about. It was about breaking the cycle. So I wanted women to come, and this is why I told people like wear your florals, like empower, what it means to be a woman, and what it means to be feminine, and what it means to just like wear something pretty and like own your femininity. And that's why I told them like wear your florals and bring your friends so that you can all come together and we can rally and have like really important and powerful conversations about like what it means to be a woman. And like and we're just going to tell people, and we're going to show people that like we're not going to sit back. Like we're not going back. We're pushing forward, and we're going to do everything that we can, because we are just here to support each other. So you say that I don't support survivors, but I support all women, including women that are survivors. So all women are inclusive, and something that I just want to be a voice for. I feel like women don't have a voice, or they don't have anybody that's a voice for them right now. And like if I can be that, and like whatever like mini tiny minuscule fraction of like 20 million followers on Instagram that I have, but like whatever small scale I have, and whatever way I can contribute my voice to the conversation, like I just feel like it's so powerful. Stop giving Blake answers. It's kind of funny how I can channel her and like come up with these answers. Okay. Ariana says, question for Blake. Where should Jamie Heath have looked after you invited him into your trailer? Okay. I think it's really valuable that, we allow women to have safe spaces. And for me, my trailer is like, it's like my yummy, like escape from the world. Cause obviously like when you're on set and you have so many people, and like, obviously, and like my husband, and like everyone's always like chasing us down, and the paparazzi are always following us. And like, I feel like your trailer, especially being a mom, like I need a place that's like for me, that I need to feel safe, and that's like my safe haven, and that I just needed to like escape everything that was like it was so traumatic on the set, and I didn't I needed a space where I felt like I can just escape the world. And so, seeing Jamie come in, obviously, like I'm not gonna, he's my boss. So like when he wants to like bulldoze his way into my trailer, like I was like, okay, I guess I kind of have to. But then it was like really awkward, because I was like getting my makeup taken off, and like I don't know, I didn't feel like I could tell him no, because he was the producer. And it was very strange. And all I asked is that he like just turn away from for like a little bit. Like I was literally practically almost naked, like not fully, but like practically completely. And like I didn't know how to vocalize that. And I think so many women right now, especially in this day and age, don't know how to stand up to men that they feel are like empowered, and people think that because I'm like famous and beautiful that like, it's like not, I don't face things like that. But like I just want you to know, like I'm just like you. Like I'm, yes, famous and rich and beautiful and have 20 million followers, and like yes, I have a successful brand, but like my brand is for women. My brand is to speak up for women and to empower women, and so I wish like me speaking up right now is like for all the women that like aren't as beautiful and famous as like me and like the mini like fame and like platform that I have. Like I want to use that. Like if I have it, I just need to give it back. You know? I need to give back to people. MC High Life says, "What did you text Taylor?" I don't understand why, Wayfair, like, they want my texts with Taylor Swift. Like, it's such an invasion of privacy. Like, my text messages with Taylor are just like they're so private, and they're just like such like a soul bonding experience where, we share things that, we don't need the world to see. Like, who cares if we talk shit about Gigi Hadid's birthday party last year? Like, but like we talk about like these really serious things and these really, powerful and impactful moments in time. And, whether it's me writing a movie or her writing a song, like I just feel like our souls transcend and they like connect in a way that like people don't understand the bond between women and like how powerful we are when we come together. And for a man to want to come and like pick apart those text messages is just like it's so just gross to me, because it's like we have this bond that should be private and sanctimonious, because like we, are just like trying to empower others. And the fact that like somebody wants to violate that, like, my text messages with Taylor are like they're private and they're personal. And I don't understand why somebody would want to violate that privacy and that bond that we've built. Karen says, "My question for Blake is, on the lives of your children, did Baldoni harass you?" I feel like the conversation has like really gotten messy, and I don't understand why so many people like have all of these like questions and they want to like nitpick everything. And I'm just like, it's not even about like nitpicking things. It's like, there are just so many, like the conversation is so much bigger, and it's even so much bigger than just like me, right? Like, me being a beautiful woman on the set, and making the money that I do. Like I have, like, you don't understand, like other women don't have those experiences, and like they don't have opportunities to like be as um like as like pretty as me. And so I having the privilege that I have, like that's such a powerful thing to have in today's age. And so I just want to make sure that I'm speaking out for women, and especially even my own kids. Like I want to make sure that they can look at me and like and be proud of like the that they can be proud of the person that they look up to. So, I don't understand why people like want to pick apart everything, and I'm just like, we just have to believe women, like we have to, because like this is an era where like we're starting to question women. And like how crazy is that like we're now questioning women, and like why would we question them when like there are so many opportunities where women are not naturally liars. Like we're caregivers, and we're mothers, and we're you know we're Betty Boo's drinkers, and like there are just so many opportunities where I just, I want women to feel heard. And that's why I think it's really dangerous to like question women, and it's especially in this day and age. Sorry, if you guys are listening to the podcast and you're not watching the video, you're missing all of my hand gestures and me like playing with my fake hair. Like I think I need to do an Instagram reel, you know? Angel's voice says, doesn't answer the question. LOL, so Blake. Yeah, you know, we're Betty Boo's drinkers. Zach, you realize how unhinged you are, right? So unhinged, so yummy. Can you imagine Brian Friedman having to sit through this today? Yeah. Like you're claiming that Justin didn't stay in character as Ryle. Isn't Ryle supposed to be a predator in the movie? Ooh, that's actually a really good question. Not the hair. If she lies, she perjures herself. Well, that's why she just has to talk in circles so that she's not technically lying. She's just talking in circles and not really giving you a clear answer. You know, I don't believe Justin will be at the deposition. No, she needs to swear on her wardrobe that she likes more than her children. Yeah. Was that you pulling out your weave? Yeah, the Blake Brown wasn't really slapping. Question: At what point did you and Ryan decide that you wanted to go after the movie rights? I just feel like my husband and I, Ryan Reynolds, he's just, he's such a he's like, I know people always look at him and they're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you're married to Ryan Reynolds." And I was like, I don't even know why he like left his wife for me. Like that's just such like a crazy like thought to even like conceptualize in my brain and to like to even wrap like my head around. It's so I feel like I'm I love him so much and he's the biggest cheerleader and he's just like always like rooting for me in like every sense of the word and like he's just the best like most female centered male that I've ever encountered in my life and like I feel like he doesn't get enough credit for that. Obviously like people see him because he's like gorgeous and famous and like obviously and then together people are always like you guys are like such a beautiful couple and your couple's goals and like and we're flattered by that because not everybody is as lucky to be as like privileged and rich and famous and beautiful as us and so I just I we but what I love is that we have such a collaborative relationship where like our souls just like intersect in like in like the weirdest like intergalactic way and I know like that sounds crazy but like it's not crazy when you really like think about it that like we're so like our souls have just like merged into like one yummy like intergalactic connection you know and so I just when we do a project, we now are like so embedded into each other's lives that like we always support each other. So if there's a project that one of us has, it's like basically a project that like we both have. And like what a beautiful union to have in your relationship. Like so many people these days like don't have a connection and they don't even talk to their partners. And like I feel like we're so bonded in a way that just like, that just people that wouldn't understand, because they don't have a marriage as perfect as ours. Like, I know that that's like a crazy concept for people to understand, but like we're like normal, but like our bond is just like it's so like in a weird way, like yummy and like just intersected in like this dynamic that like I couldn't even explain, but it was like clearly cosmic in a way that just, I just I can't think of life without him. Pri Prior to drafting your 17-point list, were you aware of the intimacy coordinator being available? Jeanette, this is a really interesting question because I feel like there's this whole conversation that's like going on right now about like intimacy coordinators, and people are like, what does that mean? And like, should we have them and should we not have them? And I just feel like this is a really powerful moment, especially for women to like stand up and be like, we need an advocate and we need somebody to be on set and we need somebody that's going to be there for us and that's going to champion us and that's going to, make sure that we feel safe. Like we need to feel safe. Like women need to feel safe in spaces that men just keep trying to take over and like it just people don't understand and sometimes I'm just like listen just like take a break, have like an aviation gin martini. That's what my husband Ryan Reynolds like loves to do and like I want people to understand that like just believe and understand that women need to feel safe in the work environment and there's just not enough of that today. So I think that like so many people are having a conversation about like intimacy coordinators and like are they important or are they not important? I say they're absolutely important. Like I want to live in a world where like there's always an intimacy coordinator like everywhere we go because like you don't even understand like how often women are just like disrespected and just it's a really scary world out there today, and I think, women are losing their power, and, like, I want to continue to fight for that because, like, we deserve to hold our power together, and it's just like, I I just I want I want to just be that voice for them, you know? I want to make sure that they feel seen and that they feel heard and that they feel safe, and, like, that's why we need intimacy coordinators, and, like, there should be no objection to that. Like, I don't understand, like, why people just feel the need to, like, try to, like, bulldoze that and, like, not understand why we need them, you know? Jeanette says, I already forgot my question listening to your non-answer." Ludwig says, "Do you have herpes on your lip during the time of filming?" Um, I just one thing that I feel like has come up in this entire case, and one thing that I just feel like is so violating outside of just like what I even experienced on the set was like this need to like dig up my medical records. And I feel like that is such an invasion and such like an important thing that like women need to be able to like have to keep to themselves. So like, my you're trying to like figure out my mental health, like what why like I mean, if you're like guessing the mental health of like, the characters I played, because like obviously like, in another civil favor, like that was crazy. Like you saw when I was like making out with myself and like like doing things with my triplet. Like I'll let you watch that because like, I'm not gonna give any spoilers because like obviously Paul Feig would like kill me if I gave spoilers for the film. But like, I feel like my mental health and my physical health and like, conditions, like I just feel like it's so gross to me that like right now like everybody like wants to out everything and exploit everything, and I just feel like women right now need to like have certain protections and privacies. So like I just I you know I I don't think that we should be grilling women about, what they have or don't have. Like that's private. And then like to shame women, it's like what we're gonna give women scarlet letters again. Like what are we going back? We're not going back. Like we're not going back to that. Like we have to fight to make sure that women feel seen and that they feel heard, and that, you know, again, that they're just, I want women to feel like this summer they have like just picture yourself like on a beach with like just the wind blowing in your hair after, a fresh mask from Blake Brown with a Betty Booze in your hand. And like that's why I created these brands so that women, could feel empowered in a way that just, transcends what, and silences the men that are trying to silence us, you know? Okay, that's enough. Maybe I'll do some Instagram. Send me more questions. Leave them in a comment below, and maybe I'll do an Instagram. We're going way over. We're well over an hour now. We'll do an Instagram where I'll play Blake and I'll answer more questions as if Blake was actually. I'll pick like the top 3 questions. Never with Teeth by Zach Peter. Thank you. Um, Blake, protect all women, just not any women who are prettier than me. That part, yes, they are legitimately only gonna have time for 3 questions. Yeah, I must stand up for all women. Yep. Are you able to give straight answers? I just feel like it's so interesting. Like people like they want everything to like be straight, and like obviously like yes, I'm straight, but I also kind of feel like maybe we're all a little queer, like maybe we're all a little gender bending, and like straight just needs to like be a term that like we obliterate. It's like what it doesn't make any sense to me that like straight is even a concept in today's age. Like like what is this, the age of Adeline? Like no, like we're in a new era and we're moving forward and we're not going back, you know? And like sometimes I think people feel like, when I don't even understand what a straight answer even means. Like I feel like I've so moved past the era of what a straight like means that like I want to make sure that like people feel seen in today's era. And so that's why like, I want to make sure that I don't know, that like people feel seen, and like and straight is like so overrated. Ah. Any updates on the depositions? The depositions I believe are happening right now. That's what we're acting them out together. We're acting out what we believe is gonna handle. Please answer my question yes or no first, then you can ramble. See, but the thing is, like, I feel like this world just, like, wants to be so binary, and they want everything to be just, like, black and white and yes and no, and sometimes, like, it's not that simple to just be yes and no, like, we need to feel freed and empowered, like, even just, like, wanting women to give a yes or no answer, like, takes their voices away from them because, like, they should be heard and they should be able to express themselves freely without, like, feeling confined to, like, having, like, a checkbox. You know? Like, I just I don't get that, like, why we feel the need to, like, control women and why we don't wanna give them a chance to have a voice and to feel like their voice matters in today's day and age, you know? It's, like, not binary, and, like, we shouldn't be doing these things, and, like, I believe every woman should have authorship over their lives, and every woman should be able to speak freely and to not feel confined by what a man thinks her answer needs to be or what it should be, but just what she feels is so innately natural in her heart, you know? Okay, we'll be here all day like Blake's deposition. Not the Debbie Ryan radio rebel face. Well, it's the Debbie Ryan radio rebel face. Debbie Ryan, I know, kind of goes on the word salads too. Oh, what a time. Baldoni is definitely Italian. Is he? He's yummy. Every woman should have authorship over whether people notice her baby. That's a really important point too. It's so important. Please buy a dead blonde wig. A dead blonde wig? Why does she have to be dead? Why do you oh, Eliza says, "Why didn't you speak up for your daughter when she didn't want to say the S statement over 400 times?" You know, one thing that I really appreciate about, my husband, Ryan Reynolds, the great and powerful, that is that, like, we always instill in our kids that, like, we're such a family of, like, humor, and we, like, joke all the time, and we play practical jokes on each other, and just, like, and I think the kids have started to, like, adopt in that too, and, like, sometimes I'm even kind of like, "Brian, like, what? Like, how do you" like, like, we should let the kids be themselves and be free and, like, not have to, think about the worries of the outside world, and so, they have, like, inside jokes, and we just laugh, like, sometimes they just say the craziest things, and I just, it's just sometimes I'll be, like, in the kitchen, and I'll be baking, and, the kids would be like, they'll, like, make the practical jokes, or, like, pranks on me, and I think it's the cutest thing because, like, sometimes kids just say the darndest things, and I just think Ryan has a really good way of, like, helping them bring out their creative side with their, like, sense of humor, and it just, it's almost it's beautiful to see it come to life and to see them in character just, like, feels just, empowering, you know? And that's why I encourage, like, all women to just, like, crack open a can of Betty Boos this summer and just, like, let your hair down and you know what? Don't even wear a bra. Like, just, like, be free and just, like, feel the rain on your skin. Release your inhibitions. It's just, the rest is just it's still unwritten. That's, something that I learned from my friend Taylor Swift is that, sometimes the hardest thing is sometimes the easiest thing, and you just have to be willing and brave enough to stand up to the man and stand up to the establishment and stand up to the men that are trying to silence us, and I'm glad that my husband can teach our kids how to take on an acting role and at least be in a safe a space that's, like, confined by people that we know and that we love and that we trust, because children can be abused on set sometimes, and just, like, at least they have us to protect them. All right. What a perfect time to stand up for women and children. Thank you. Thank you, Susan. I'm glad that, like, you see me today, because, like, that's what I'm here for, you know? And, like, my friend Taylor Swift is just always telling me that, like, women are just such incredible, like, powerful beings. And I just, I'm just so grateful that I have her in my life, and that, I have her in my core. And I just, I was texting her this morning, and I haven't heard from her in, like, 3 weeks, but, like, I know she's busy and, like, she's living her life, and, I wish she would, text me back at some point. It's only been 6 months, but like I just, to me, we have one of those like friendships and those bonds where like, they always say like you don't need to talk every single day, but like when you do, you just like pick up where you left off. And I'm just like, yeah, you know, loving you is red. And I tell her that all the time. I'm like, loving you is red, And even right now, I'm just like, baby, do we have bad blood? Because I thought it was all like mad love. And I don't understand because to me, I'm kind of feeling the energy of like, like we're never ever ever getting back together. But like, no, like that would never happen. That would never, ever, ever, ever happen. Ugh, it's just great. It's the best, no wig or costume necessary. He's so good with the voice tone and that. Thank you, citizen journalist. Okay. Send this video to Friedman. What if Friedman wants her to respond on her yes answer? Listen, who has driven your need for authorship? Women and empowering women, you know? Okay. All right, now we're really gonna cut it. Amanda says, Zach, the straight answer word salad. You have to take like one word and like break it up into something else. Uh, you know, I'm not your dragon. Ain't nobody's dragging my name. Okay, that was a very long episode of No Filter, 90 minutes, but hopefully you enjoyed the music. Hopefully you enjoyed the depositions. And I will talk to you later, Skater. Love you. Appreciate you. Talk to you tomorrow, guys. Get your tickets to the Zactivated tour. Like I said, there's going to be lots of yummy Baldoni stuff. I have Colonel Kurtz on stage on July 11th in Dallas. I have Lauren and Andy from Court of Random Opinion and Popcorn Planet. Andy's going to be bringing a special clip from the It Ends With Justice docuseries on stage. Plus, we're going to be singing I'm Not Your Dragon live on stage together. So get your tickets. That's our Phoenix show on July 13th. Plus, we have the Dallas show on July 11th. Those are the first two shows that we're kicking off with. And then we have Chicago, Seattle, Los Angeles, Philly. So it's going to be fun. Get your tickets at nofilterlive.com. Go to nofilterlive.com. All right, guys, give me a follow, Justin Zach. Follow the podcast at No Filter with Zach. And be sure to leave a review if you're enjoying the podcast. Hit the like button on your way out. And I will talk to you guys later. Ciao for now. Bye.